my name's Pumpkin and welcome to the patch. Today we are back in my forever world in Minecraft. I recently did a Herbology themed greenhouse. I needed to do a part 2 to decorate the interior and the exterior, as the build was quite a lot. I went through what I wanted to decorate. So let's see how I got on, shall we?
We're going to start here at my bee house, as there is a room in here that I didn't like the decoration for, so I'm going to redecorate using the new mod that I've put on my game, Cluttered. This mod really came in clutch for me this time round, and I am so happy I downloaded it and that it worked with my game. I also said in the last video I was going to try to get the fox taming mod to work. Unfortunately, it doesn't seem to be compatible with my version of Minecraft that I have, which was a shame because I was really looking forward to having a cute little fox curled up in the greenhouse. But this is how the decoration's going. To be honest with you, I wasn't too impressed with what I was doing here. This was very much a it'll do situation, but like I said, it'll do, it's good enough. It's got yellow in there, it's got a bee in there, it's good enough. So here I am outside the Herbology greenhouse, and I'm putting in some leaf blocks to look like hedges around the greenhouse now. I'm putting in some flowers that all look like wildflowers around here. That's the theme I was going for. I downloaded Let's Do Blooming Nature a little while ago, and I've had enough time now to explore around my Minecraft world and find some of these new flowers. So I'm plopping them down in here now. I've also put some alliums in there. I very much wanted to go for an allium theme in this particular garden because of the little guys I have living in the greenhouse, but I didn't like them in the end. There's just something about them I don't like, so you will see me take them down in a little bit. I'm just going around bone mealing now and putting in some nice wild grass. I'm taking out any of the flowers from the bone mealing I don't like, and I am going to bone meal these alliums in a minute and forget that it will make an allium tree, which I was very happy about. What I was hoping to go for was it to just pop out more of the tall alliums like tall flowers do when you bone meal them, but no. I am adding a lot more lavender around. Like I said, I wanted it to look like a wildlife garden, and lavender usually grows in clumps, so I was clumping a lot of it together. The English country garden is kind of an aesthetic of mine that I enjoy, where it is a garden that is allowed to grow wild and free and is just pruned for the health of the flowers and the garden, rather than being cut back and looked over landscaped or unnatural. Around the back of the greenhouse, I've decided to go for a more of a pink flower theme, so I'm just adding in lots of pink flowers sporadically around the tall grass. I'm going in with some more grass blocks to make a little hedgerow again around the back of the greenhouse. These tall alliums, again, I've been putting around here. Some of them stay, but some of them I do get rid of. There's just something about the shape of them I don't like. I'm having a look around the garden here. I'm realising it is a little bit too cluttered and start working my way around and taking out some bits that I think are unnecessary. And like I said earlier, most of the casualties are the alliums. I decided to move this super cute bike around. I knew I wanted it to be a focal piece, but I just didn't know where. I'm starting with the interior now, and as usual I start with a little enclosure that I will be putting my villager inside of. I always go for a fence with a trapdoor on top so I can jump over, but the villager cannot. I go in with some decoration. A lot of these are from the mod Cluttered. The star of the show is definitely the Cluttered mod in this build, and I am looking forward to experimenting with it more going on. I have gone for a lot of the flower themed items in the mod, as this is going to be a botanist's house. I go in with these pink planters in the greenhouse. I cannot put flowers in them. I have tried, as you can see just here, and it was not working. I go around with some flower boxes, pretty much all around the walls in the main room. And I put in some matching flowers from the ones in the garden. I'm going in with quite a lot of clutter in this room, as it is a big room to fill, and it was starting to feel a bit overwhelming to think of how I was going to make this room look full. I'm going in with some more plants, this time the pink ones. I'm putting up some trellises. I decide to add some tall flowers just around in the grass in the greenhouse, and some planters. I'm going around and taking down most of the tall alliums now, as I have decided that they are definitely not part of the theme. But what are my Odeons. So here we are in the allium shrubland, and this is where you find the Odeons. They are basically sentient little onion guys that have alliums on their head. And here we are snagging them. I'm now cutting out my path and putting in the blocks for it. Just here I use the packed mud brick, the stone bricks, the flower planks from cluttered moss and dicite tiles. I decide that the side of the house needs some more greenery, so I add in some more leaf blocks to make it look like some plants are growing up the house. This is as high as I want the grass blocks to grow, as I don't want to take away the moss that is on the roof. I also go round the back of the greenhouse and add in the leaf blocks there too. Because I couldn't stop just there, I knew that the interior needed leaf blocks in it as well. I needed it to look overgrown and wild as per usual. I particularly like the leaf blocks going around the door there. It does look very wild and like a little arch. I'm putting in some sunflower garlands in, and realising that they would look really cute in the bee house as well. I'm going in with some grass in the greenhouse to make it look very overgrown on the ground as well as around the greenhouse. And here we are putting down some soil blocks where I'm going to have some vegetables actually growing. These pink trapdoors are also from the mod cluttered. I like how bright they are. I usually go for a more pale pastel pink, but it really pops. I'm going in with some Spanish moss here on the grass blocks. When they start growing down, it will look very magical. I am now Going to plant some of the vegetables in here and also put in flowers and mushrooms. I have now gone to a biome called the Lavender Meadow to catch me some butterflies. This is from the Mystic Biomes mod. You can catch the butterflies in a jar and then tip them out wherever you want. I had to capture this beautiful green light coming in. We're going in with a bit more bone mealing, as the tall grass is so very wild. They do a very good job of it with this bone mealing to make it look natural and sporadic. As I couldn't plant anything in these planters, I decided to just add some planter box on top of them and add flowers to them. I go in adding some flowers to this middle part, as there were some gaps and I couldn't have that. I add some flowers in the main room and that lush cave flower on the ceiling. We add in our villager, who is going to be our botanist. Now it's time to move on to a little tiny build, which is this chimney stack on my bee house. This was one of the finishing off pieces that I forgot in my bee video, and now I'm adding the chimney stack in now. I am using packed mud and packed mud bricks, and at the top I'm going to put a campfire surrounded by oak trapdoors. This first draft of the chimney was a little too tall and a little too skinny, but you'll see me go in and change it. As I did just then. Much better in my opinion. Now another little touch that I needed to add was a bridge, and here I am building it out of packed mud brick slabs, just going slightly up each time to make stairs. I am now going to put some moss on the side of the bridge, where I will add some flowers. I'm putting some more of the packed mud bricks at the side to do a little wall, but you'll see that I don't like that it is too much of the same colour, and I go in with just stone bricks, which I think the contrast is much better. Here I'm adding in the oak trapdoors to make it look like a little planter box. This is where I go in and change those mud blocks, and you'll see it looks so much better with the grey. And on top of that, I will be putting this mossy stone wall. Here I'm putting in the trapdoors around the campfire, so it looks more like a chimney stack. Again, much better. And now I'm going in with some small oak trees and some last little decorations. I decided that it needed some more detail on the ceiling here, so I go in with some cherry blossom leaves and some oak leaves to make it look like some plants are growing down from the ceiling. I'm just doing the last bit of bone mealing to make it look a bit more wild again in this greenhouse. And with these last changes, that is the decoration done.
Let's start our tour walking from our hobbit house down to the greenhouse. We go past my bumblebee house. Just in that greenhouse there we have some bumblebees. And one of the rooms that I decorated is just up. It's not my best work, but
I needed to do something in here, make it a bit more cluttered. So I added in some items from the mod Cluttered. So many good things on this mod that I'm so happy with. This birdhouse, these vase and flowers, and these floral planks. And the floral planks could be made into bookcases. There's this light up bee, and we have a record player, and some more planks along here. And this little hanging plant. This was a bit of it will do kind of thing after I decorated here. In the future, maybe I'll come back and do something a little bit better. Just here, I added some sunflower garlands. This again is from the mod Cluttered. So coming back out of our bee house, along here, I made the chimney stack. You can see it's from packed mud and packed mud bricks. And at the top, I have some oak trapdoors with a bonfire in it to make it look like there is smoke coming out the chimney. And just here is another addition. We have our bridge. I don't have to keep on diving into the water now. I can actually go over this lovely, simple but pretty bridge. Again, I've used the packed mud bricks, some moss, flowers, some stone bricks and mossy stone fence. One of these logs here is again from the Cluttered mod, the ones with the flowers on. I added in some more little oak trees here as well. Just scattered some in. Along here we have some purple flowers. Over here is another one of the willow trees that I actually kept in. I put 3 willow trees down and they looked a bit cluttered, but just this one at the side looks very magical. I have this annoying wandering trader here. They will disappear eventually, but not for my tour, obviously. I have some more trees here that match what I've got going on. I'm inspired a lot by the English country garden, and this just here is where I get a lot of inspiration for my garden and nature builds. I put in some leaf blocks all around. I didn't want to put too many in as we have a lot of moss on the dome, and I wanted to see the detail of the dome and the detail of the roof. I didn't want to cover it in oak leaves to disguise it. Around here we have our side door and the other side of the willow tree. So let's go inside the interior of the build. Just here we have our villager, and they are the botanist. With that table just there, that is their job block, and that's how they become the botanist. This is from a mod called Beautify. I've added a lot of greenery inside. I wanted it to look very alive and overgrown in here. And I added some Spanish moss onto the leaf blocks. The Spanish moss is from Biomes of Plenty. I have some decoration behind the till here. I always like to have my villager inside a little enclosure like this to make it look like they are the shopkeeper of said shop. And this is our Herbology or florist shop owner. I decided to put a lot of cupboards and drawers behind there to make it look like maybe that's where they prepare some bouquets of flowers or put some extra seeds. I have some flower decoration here from the mod Cluttered. A lot of these assets here are from the mod Cluttered. Just there where there is some gardening tools, that is from the mod Just Outdoor Stuffs. This very cute bike is from the mod Cluttered, as is that. We have a lot of flower boxes with all kinds of flowers in. I can't remember exactly what mod each one of these flowers is from, because I have quite a lot of mods that bring different flowers to the game. I have a trellis just here with some peonies growing up it. The trellis is from the mod Beautify. I have the same thing going on here. And just here, I have some flower boxes with this very cute little mushroom terrarium on. I love that it glows as well. Going in here, this is our greenhouse. Just here I have the Odeons. They look like cutie little mandrakes, and I love what they look like in this greenhouse. Which I also have some butterflies floating around. I have a load of petals falling from the ceiling, so it looks incredibly magical in here. I have some more flower pots around the side and some more gardening stuff here. Again, this one here is from the mod Just Outdoors Stuffs. I have my old faithful glowing vine. Unfortunately, these planter boxes, the pink ones, I couldn't actually get anything to grow on them. So I put these. I think our wandering trader just got killed off. Whoops. Yeah, I couldn't get anything to grow in these planters just here. They're from the mod Cluttered. If anybody is well versed with this mod and could let me know how to make things grow in this, I would appreciate it. But for the meantime, I put some planters on top of them and some flowers on top of that. In the middle, I put some soil. I put a mixture of mushrooms, vegetables, and flowers. Just here, I have some grapevines and some barrels from the mod Let's Do Vinery. It's supposed to make wine, I think. I haven't actually played around with this mod enough to know. I just thought it looked pretty in here. We have this very cute wheelbarrow just here. We have moss on the ceiling. And one of these flowers from the Lush Caves. So this is the completed build from the outside, and I utterly love it. I think it's so pretty. I love how wild the garden looks, and how I didn't go too crazy with the leaf blocks on the outside to look like ivy growing up the building. I think it's just right, especially with all the moss that's actually on the roof. I love that you can see what's going on in the greenhouse so well, and can see the butterflies flying around in there, and that you can see the different colour of the leaf blocks that I have on the ceiling. So now that I have completed this Herbology build, I am very satisfied with how it looks, and I am very pleased that it's finished. The decorating part of Minecraft is definitely what I prefer. The building of the structures does stress me out a little bit. I also really loved going around and finishing off some bits around the village that needed doing. Again, it was just a nice decorating session that I feel really refreshed my feeling of Minecraft burnout. If you made it this far in the video, thank you so much. If you like what you see here with the decorating and the cozy vibes, why not subscribe? I post pretty much every week. So thank you so much for watching this little pumpkin on this safe space of the internet, and I will see you next time.